You'll see on this top and tail bowl that I've bought today that there's a picture on one side of the bowl, and I thought that was purely there for decorative purposes, but when I did my training I realised that this is actually to distinguish between a top end of your bowl and a tail end. So one section of the bowl is for the cleaner end of baby and one section of the bowl is for the dirtier end of baby. We are just going to use some plain water and cotton wool for our washing of baby for these first few days. We don't want to introduce any products to a newborn baby's skin for the first 4 weeks. And again, that is just because baby's skin is so delicate and thin and sensitive compared to ours. After 4 weeks, we can start to introduce some baby products such as a baby soap, a baby body wash. It's recommended to introduce those products one at a time. That way it's just really easy to find out if baby does have a reaction to a certain product. So yeah, in these first few weeks we are just going to use water and cotton wool to do all the washing of baby. If you are going out and about, visiting family and friends, you might not have your water and cotton wool available. Baby wipes are absolutely fine to use, but they just say please use sparingly, and where you can, use water and cotton wool. If you're going to use baby wipes for newborn babies, they say please look for ones that say they are for sensitive skin or that are fragrance free. They are just better for newborns because they contain less chemicals and perfumes in the wipes. Baby's tear ducts do a lot of the cleaning for baby's eyes. They're usually really lovely and clear, but babies can get something called sticky eye. It's like the sleep we get in our eyes in the morning, it's just a bit thicker for babies. And most babies have the most beautiful long eyelashes, and this sticky eye can literally stick their eyelashes together, so babies have a little bit of a struggle opening their eyes. If we notice anything like this, we just want to give baby's eyes a gentle clean. And if we're doing any wiping near baby's eyes, we always want to wipe from the inside and wipe out. We're going to discard that piece of cotton wool, get a clean piece of cotton wool, and just repeat that action, wiping from the inside out until the eye is nice and clear. We usually just recommend some tepid warm tap water to wash babies, but if you do notice any soreness or any sort of sign of infection in baby's eye, you'd probably be recommended to use cold boiled water to do the cleaning. The next area we want to check on baby is the area around their belly button. So for those first few days when baby's born, they'll wear what's called an umbilical tag. After the birth, when baby's born, the midwife or your partner will cut the umbilical cord. There'll be a small amount of that umbilical cord left attached to babies, and they just put what's called a little umbilical tag on the end of that cord. This dries up very naturally on its own after a few days, but you just want to make sure that the skin around the umbilical tag is nice and clean and dry. It's showing no soreness and redness. You just want to make sure that it looks like the rest of the skin around it. If it starts weeping, a yellowy greenish discharge, or you notice any bleeding coming from the umbilical tag, please have a word with your midwifery team or your health visitor, and they'll advise any sort of treatment that's needed for that. So when we're wiping round baby's belly button, again we're just going to use our water and cotton wool to wipe round that area. If you do notice a little bit of soreness or inflammation, use your cold boiled water again to wipe around that area. And when you're placing nappies on newborn babies, it's really important to try and keep that umbilical tag exposed. So when we put a nappy on our baby, we want to make sure that we fold the top of the nappy down just so that that umbilical tag doesn't get too hot, sticky and clammy, and the air is free to circulate around that umbilical tag. Sometimes after a feed, a baby may be a little bit sick or might just spill a little bit of their milk. And because babies don't have very good head and neck control, the milk tends to pool in these folds and creases underneath baby's chin. What we want to do is just make sure no milk remains under there in those folds and creases, just because it can make that skin a little bit sore. So what we can do is just very carefully with our finger or our thumb, just tilt baby's chin forwards, and then we can gently get into those folds and creases with our cotton wool balls. To dry that area as well, we just get our towel and we just do some gentle patting. Patting rather than rubbing is recommended for babies when we're drying their skin. And then we get to the dirtier end of baby, the tail end. When we're doing nappy changes, babies can be very sensitive to the change in temperature when we're taking nappies off. I had a little boy first, and I wasn't told that little boys in particular are very, very sensitive to the change in temperature. So every time I did this, he would either wee in his own face or he would wee in my face. And I would go to grab a new nappy to catch it, which is quite wasteful actually, because nappies are something you get through very, very quickly, and they're quite expensive as well. So I would say for these regular nappy changes, have some old towels available, some face cloths for these nappy changing times, and to save your carpet. For little boys, you want to wipe right round the penis and the scrotum area, and when we're checking the bottom area, you can just very gently lift baby's legs up by holding onto their ankles, raising their legs up, and then we can wipe their bottoms as well. When we're washing little girls, if they've had a poo, sometimes the poo can go up and inside the lips of the vagina. So very carefully with 2 fingers, we just separate the lips of the vagina, and any cleaning we do in this area is always front to back. So we go from the front, down, discard that piece, get a new piece of clean cotton wool, and again, from the front to the back. We don't want to lift anything up into the vagina because we could create some infection. Nappy rash can be quite common in newborn babies. If babies are a little bit under the weather, if they are teething, if they have a cold, they can develop a little bit of a nappy rash on their bottom. Please have a word with your health visitor or your midwifery team if you are concerned about the soreness of baby's bottom, and they will recommend any medicated creams that you may have to use, but generally it's not recommended to put any barrier or nappy creams on newborn babies. When you're doing your nappy changes, and if baby's happily playing on their changing mat, just let baby have some time out of the nappy. The fresh air is a really good way to either reduce the nappy rash or to prevent nappy rash altogether. So following those first few days where we're just topping and tailing baby, we can then introduce a full baby bath. This can be done at any time of the day, although a lot of people say they like to incorporate a bath as part of the bedtime routine for newborn babies. It can really help to settle and soothe some babies and get them ready for that last feed of the day. You can do a bath anywhere in your house. You just want to be in a room where there are no drafts. So you don't want to be bathing baby in front of an open window or in front of an open door. Just make sure that you have everything set up ready before you start preparing baby for a bath. I'd say just have 2 of everything just to make sure you're fully prepared. For the demonstration today, I'm just going to use a very plain, bog standard plastic baby bath. Baths come in an array of different sizes and shapes now. Some will come with some fitted bath seats. What we would say for any bathing of newborns is, even if they have some bath seating aids, please always remain with your baby at all times when they're in the bath. They cannot control their head and neck. They're very slippery, so they will need us to be holding them constantly in the bath all the time. So please don't leave a baby unattended at bath time. The ideal temperature for baby's bath is body temperature, so it wants to be around 37 to 38 degrees. There's lots of different thermometers you can get to test the temperature of baby's bath water, and lots of different devices as well. Some baths have stickers in the bottom that change colour to let you know that the temperature's okay. Some plugs change colour, and you can have the thermometers that sit on the top of the water as well. If you don't have any of these devices, please don't worry. A really easy way to check the temperature of baby's bath is to just place your elbow into the water, and it wants to feel nice and warm, a comfortable temperature for baby. If you have a plastic bath like this one, it's recommended to put in the cold water first and then top up with hot water. That's just because the base of the bath can retain the heat from the hot water if that goes in first. So when we're checking the temperature of the water, the temperature might be absolutely fine, but the base of the bath may be just that little bit too warm to sit baby on. So always put your cold water in first and then top up with some hot water. You want about a hand's depth of water. You want enough water in to make sure that baby is nicely covered up to about their chest area, so that they stay nice and warm in the bath. So now we've got a really good firm grip on baby, we can transfer baby into the bath. And what we're going to do, when we hear baby's bottom go touch the bottom of this bath, we're going to remove this hand, and this hand is then free to do the washing of baby, while my other arm is still supporting baby's head and neck. If we need to wash baby's back and bottom, we can just gently transfer the weight of baby over onto this arm. Again, this arm will then still be supporting baby's head and neck, and we can wash baby's back with this hand. Some babies will absolutely love bath time. There will probably be water babies and really enjoy bath time. It is a lovely opportunity for them to have a really lovely stretch at the end of the day, stretch out those fingers and toes. If they're enjoying their baths, let them happily play in there for a few minutes while the water's still at a nice comfortable temperature for them. If they're not water babies and they're not enjoying it, 30 seconds is absolutely fine, and then we can get baby out of the bath again. Bath time is a really lovely opportunity to have that one-to-one interaction with your baby. I would say for the first couple of baths, if you can have your partner there or another family or friend member, your baby probably won't be as still and quiet as this baby is today, just for that reassurance that somebody else is there. And it's lovely for baby to see both of you there at this time, at bath time. Remember, baby has really limited vision as well, so we need to get as close to baby as we can when we're bathing. You can be on the floor like this, but if you've experienced any pain during labour, if you want to do it on the top of a table, that's absolutely fine. Just find a position that's really comfortable for you. We need to get really close to baby so she can see our face and she can hear our voice. It really doesn't matter again what we're talking about at bath time. Just hearing our voice is so comforting and reassuring for baby. So we can tell them what we've done at work today, we can tell them what we're buying at the shops, we can recite song lyrics. It doesn't matter what we say, they'll just be really comforted to hear our voice. So when baby's ready to come out the bath, we're just going to put that hand under baby's bottom again, get hold of the opposite leg to us and just gently raise baby out the bath. We'll put them onto a dry towel, and this is where it's really handy to have a second towel to make sure we can cover baby up quickly and make sure they don't get too cold. As we discussed in the safe sleeping information, babies can't control their body temperature and they can overheat really quickly, but they can also get cold quite quickly too, so we just want to make sure that they get nice and warm quickly. What we can do with a second towel is, once baby has been dried off on that towel underneath, we can use this second towel to get into all the folds and creases on baby's skin. So again, it's coming really close to baby and using a finger in this towel just to dab into all the folds and creases around baby. So we want to go under the chin, under the arms, at the top of their legs and their bottom. All the time we're doing this, be as close to baby as you can and talk all the time. Offer lots of touch as well, which is really reassuring for baby. If they've really enjoyed the bath time, it might be this time in the towel where we're dressing them and undressing them that they're not too keen on. Some babies don't like items of clothing going over their heads. They don't like their little fingers and toes getting caught in little sleep suits. So if they can see us and interact with us, it just makes this part of bath time that more pleasurable for babies. So after we've got babies dry, it's time to get them dressed again. With your newborn baby's nappies, please have a good shop round and get some different types of nappy. Just because they are made slightly differently, and one brand of nappy might fit baby just that little bit better and snugger than another brand of nappy. With newborn baby nappies, sometimes they will have a picture on the front to indicate which is the front and which is the back. In this case, we've just got a very plain nappy which wouldn't indicate which is the back and front. The best way and the easiest way to learn the back and the front of nappies is to look for these tags that are on nappies. The tags always go at the back, okay? So it's tags at the back when we're putting our nappies on. We're just going to very gently lift baby's legs and slide the nappy under baby's bottom. These tags come out at the side. We raise this front part of the nappy up. With little boys as well, at this point, you always want to make sure that the penis is facing down when you're putting the nappy on. Again, as a first time mum to a baby boy, I wasn't told that information, and I just wasn't sure why. The majority of his nappy changes, there was a lot of leaks happening, and it was just because I wasn't putting his penis down when I was putting the nappy on. So it's penis down for little boys, and then just secure the tags at the front of the nappy. The nappy wants to be secure enough that we can just run the top of our finger along the top of the nappy, like so. This nappy here has this little half moon shape cut out to keep that umbilical tag exposed. If your nappies don't have that, please don't worry. Like I say, we'll just fold the top of that nappy over just to keep that umbilical tag exposed. A little hint when we're putting baby grows on babies: if you start from the top and work down, you'll eventually get to two little poppers on the baby grow that are the same. It's usually two little flat ones. When you see this, go to one leg on the baby grow and start the poppers there and just work your way round, and then you won't have any holes in the baby grow. And then after all that excitement for baby, let's just give them a really lovely cuddle after bath time. These first interactions with our newborn babies are so important, not just to be able to develop our bonding and attachment with our newborn baby, but it really develops baby's brain and it forms so many connections in baby's brain. It's the building blocks for your baby's development, and they get all that through the interactions and contacts they have with you. Being close to you like this is so comforting and reassuring for a baby. If we think about what they know about life so far, for the best part of 9 months they've been in a sack of water that has been very dark and very quiet. And when they're born, they leave that water environment and they come out into an air environment. It's no longer dark, it's a very bright room, and there's loads of unfamiliar sounds and voices for baby. If they can have this really close contact with you, they can hear your heartbeat again, which is really comforting and reassuring. If you're talking to baby while you're holding them, they recognise your voice, which is one of only a couple of sounds they've heard while they've been in the womb. Your voice and your heartbeat. I don't know if you've noticed while you're pregnant, that when you're sat still, baby's more active in the womb compared to when you're walking around. That's because when you're walking, you're naturally swaying baby in that sack of water, so you're kind of lulling them to sleep. So if we can mimic that gentle action with a newborn, and you'll find yourself doing it really naturally without even thinking about it, but it's just a gentle sway side to side, backwards or forwards. And if we tap baby's bottom as well, it mimics the heartbeat they heard when they're in the womb. So this position here is really comforting and reassuring for babies. It involves no props or toys, it's just you and your baby having this lovely interaction.